5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Drenching downpours for some, but not all in this first wave of rain. We are tracking more unsettled weather right now. How long that sticks around and why our weekend forecast keeps improving.
Flu fatigue. The rapidly growing number of St. Louisans unsure about taking the shot. Our top story, the reinforcements have arrived at the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department.
I'm happy to be back. I made the right choice.
The officers returning to the force, helping to increase the ranks.
More than 3 dozen officers have rejoined SLMPD since Chief Robert Tracy took over nearly 3 years ago. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon live at police headquarters where the department continues to battle an officer shortage. Brent.
Well, I can tell you that right now there are 866 officers with St. Louis Police. That's down about 30 officers from August of last year. Right now, there are still more than 300 positions still open. But today, I caught up with 2 officers who once worked here. They decided to leave, and now they've come back.
Manpower had issues, morale was low, get burnt out a lot.
Speaking frankly, after 2 years as a city cop, Officer Christian Harris had enough. He left and went to a different department. So did Officer Matthew Novak.
I wanted to see what else was out there. I wanted to see what other opportunities, what other benefits come.
Both officers soon discovering for them, the grass wasn't greener on the other side.
Call volume was slow, low, 12-hour shifts, get 3 calls a day. You realize that our training here is better, our leadership here is better, and we work together as a team.
Just this month, they were sworn back in and welcomed with open arms back where they first earned their badge, at St. Louis Police.
Our agency is unique in that we're a big enough agency that we have all these different specialized units and advancement opportunities.
It's become a selling point to recruit new officers and to try to retain the ones they have.
If you want to be a teacher, you could be a teacher and work in our police academy. If you want to fly a helicopter, you can do that with our aviation unit. Do you like dogs? We have canine units.
After returning to the force, the newly returned officers noticed something.
It made me feel good seeing unfamiliar faces, new officers walking around.
Officers I've never seen before. It's a breath of fresh air, honestly. Like, you see guys, you come into roll call, they're smiling, they're joking, and they're actually happy to be here at work again.
The city might get chaotic. We don't think to ourselves, is the grass greener elsewhere? Our only focus is we're going to finish off today and we'll come back tomorrow and keep helping the citizens.
There's an advertisement right now on the department's website that says, "We need you now." I can tell you the annual starting salary for a city cop is about $53,000. Maybe you know someone who's interested in applying. You can find that information right now on KSDK.com. We're live downtown. Brent Solomon, back to you.
As you can see from Brent's live shot, it is raining downtown. Showers and storms continue to drop desperately needed rain in the bi-state. Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell tracking more showers overnight and throughout the day for tomorrow, Scott.
And I think the emphasis is on showers and not a continual rain, because that's what we've been seeing today. You do get some breaks in that. Right now we're getting some rain at Lambert. We just had a downpour actually go over the airport within the last 15 minutes, and there are a few of those around too in the metro area, but we're not seeing widespread heavy rainfall here because the showers and thunderstorms that are more intense down here over Arkansas, well, they're hogging all the moisture out of Arkansas, and that's preventing it from getting back into our area. So we do have some scattered showers. We have a couple of rumbles of thunder. You may get a brief downpour, but you're not going to get much more than another 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain out of this that's passing through the metro area right now. And amounts varied considerably across the region from earlier today. Some spots getting less than 1/4 of an inch. There were some places, Maryville, Illinois being one, with over 3 inches. Also out around Chaubonner in Illinois and over south of Greenville. You picked up upwards of 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, locally higher amounts. Tomorrow morning, few lingering showers for the rush hour. Don't think it's a complete wash, though, and not overly sloppy. We will see in a few minutes. We'll time out the next wave of showers for later in the day tomorrow. That's about 12 minutes away, Kelly.
All right, Scott. And you can always get the weather impact forecast anytime on your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. Charges have now been filed against the man accused of getting into a shootout with St. Louis police officers. Prosecutors have charged Thomas Stevens with several counts, including assault, armed criminal action, and resisting arrest. According to court documents, before shooting at officers, Stevens broke into an apartment on Hampton Avenue yesterday morning and stole a gun and shot a bed. He then shot the lock off another unit where 2 people were inside. Nobody was hurt.
Tonight, Bell Fountain Neighbors Police are asking for your help to track down 4 people wanted for a robbery and shootout at a neighborhood market. Police released these surveillance images today. They say the group showed up to the Gateway Market on Bell Fountain Road last week in a stolen car and started shooting. Employees fired back. No one was hurt, but anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS.
We have some new developments tonight surrounding the controversial proposal to turn the Armory in Midtown into a data center.
5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is learning why a public hearing scheduled for this week has been canceled. Laura.
Mike and Kelly, Board of Aldermen President Megan Green said in a letter to the Midtown Redevelopment Corporation today, if developers do not address community concerns over these proposed data centers, the Board of Aldermen could always go back to a data center ban, something they changed course on after an executive order from the mayor last week. Earlier this month, the St. Louis Planning Commission asked the Board of Aldermen to consider a moratorium on data centers to give city officials time to come up with regulations on the fast-growing industry. Mayor Kara Spencer responded with Executive Order 92, and the Board of Aldermen affirmed their support of the order with Resolution 111 last Friday.
That will direct the development of a thoughtful framework for incorporating data centers into the city zoning code and water codes by city departments over the next 5 months.
Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer sponsored the resolution, saying they need this to get some big questions answered.
What is the energy use? What is the water use? What is the effect on nearby property owners? How far will these be from residential neighborhoods? The size, the scope, the tax revenue, so many things that with this process we'll now be able to get answers to, which helps us make better decisions as a city.
Residents and members of the Board of Aldermen are concerned about a recent proposal to turn the vacant Armory building into a data center.
I think, we need to figure out how do we attract more of those activities to bring people to the city to have a good time and not use such that beautiful big building to just be a data center, in my opinion.
Alderman Michael Browning wrote a letter Monday on the issue, calling it a short-sighted and detrimental proposal, saying it goes against the strategic land use plan, which, quote, designates this site as Central Area West and discourages most industrial uses, especially those that create divisions between neighborhoods. Board of Aldermen President Megan Green said in a letter Tuesday a conditional use hearing scheduled for Thursday was postponed so that developers have time to comply with Executive Order 92 and Resolution 111. But she also said decisions about the project rest with St. Louis University and the Midtown Redevelopment Corporation, which means it doesn't have to go through the public process like it normally would. Quote, however, I strongly urge Midtown Redevelopment to hold its own public hearings. President Green said the city is happy to help the developers with public engagement and already opened up a page on the website Speak Up St. Louis where residents can share how they feel about the issue right now.
Tonight, a popular Chinese restaurant in St. Charles is back open for the first time after an immigration raid shut it down earlier this month. The Golden Apple Buffet on Mexico Road closed on September 2nd. The same day, the restaurant and the St. Peter's home were raided. 2 men face federal charges for harboring immigrants living here illegally. One of them manages the restaurant, and both have pleaded not guilty and were released.
Another legal showdown tonight for St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. Montgomery is suing the city to block a new ordinance that forces his deputies to transport detainees to medical appointments. He's now arguing the city doesn't have the authority to restrain him without approval from the Missouri Attorney General. We've reached out to the city for comment. We have not heard back. This is the latest chapter for a sheriff already under federal indictment and facing a state case that could remove him from office.
Seniors in St. Louis County now have less than a week to finish their applications for a property tax freeze. Next Tuesday is the deadline to file. There's still about 6,000 applications that need to be completed. County Executive Sam Page says help is available.
Let us help you get your application completed before the September 30th deadline. This is a new program. It's been an enormous, heavy lift for our Department of Revenue to manage a program like this, a new program in a county of 1 million people.
Walk-in appointments are available at all of the county government offices ahead of the September 30th deadline, but you are encouraged to schedule an appointment if possible. For more information, call 314-615-7100.
New findings out tonight show St. Louisans are growing weary of the flu shot as we inch closer to respiratory illness season. A Washington University School of Public Health survey shows trust in the CDC on flu vaccines fell to 56%. That's a 20% drop in the last 3 months. The decline was more prevalent with men and older adults. The findings come as vaccine hesitancy is on the rise across the country. Tonight, health experts at Washington University are pushing back on the Trump administration's assertion linking Tylenol to autism. The White House is recommending pregnant women avoid taking the over-the-counter painkiller.
The science here is really saying that there is not a proven link between Tylenol use and autism.
WashU says it's almost doubled its resources for parents and children with autism just in the last few years.
A penguin statue stolen from a St. Louis hotel has been located nearly 90 miles away. Sheriff Nick Adams from Madison County, Missouri says a GPS tracker led them to the 4-foot-tall orange penguin. It was taken recently from the 21C Museum Hotel in downtown. The same sculpture was stolen last October and later recovered in South Carolina. Charges have yet to be filed in this latest caper.
Dangerous drive.
My windshield just busted and cracked open.
Tonight, more cases of thrown rocks rattling drivers in South St. Louis. He's a big baby destined to become a jumbo jet.
He's kind of just like your typical toddler.
The weight this new addition at the St. Louis Zoo is carrying for his entire species.
Still a few rumbles of thunder overnight, but the threat of severe weather is not our concern. That's well to our south. We're tracking the showers that linger at times into Wednesday night and why the chances for heavier rainfall have lowered for most of us.
I was scared. At first, I thought that someone had shot at my car.
Scary moments for a woman driving along I-44 in South St. Louis. Tonight, more drivers are coming forward. St. Louis police now reporting as many as 9 cars were hit by a flying rock or large object near the Jamison Avenue overpass. Most of these incidents happened around 6 yesterday morning. One victim tells us she was driving in the westbound lanes on her way to work when she was hit.
I don't know how or why, it didn't just completely come through. I was definitely going the speed limit, so it just makes no sense that it just bounced right off my windshield. But I feel very, very lucky and fortunate.
And when we went to the overpass today, we spotted large rocks still sitting on top of a utility box overlooking the highway. Police say they don't have a description of the suspect.
As a newborn, Jet the elephant at the St. Louis Zoo tipped the scales at 262 pounds. Since then, he has hit milestone after milestone, and today marks his 10-month birthday. Jet's birth wasn't just historic, it represents a major step forward in conservation efforts for the endangered Asian elephant. We caught up with the zoo celebrity calf to see what he's been up to. Let's pause for Jet.
Such a beautiful sight to see, the newest member of the River's Edge elephant herd.
So we're super excited. That's a milestone at our zoo and many other zoos to have 4 generations of animals living together.
Jet's birth wasn't just a milestone, it was also a first. He was born through artificial insemination.
He was born last November on the 23rd to Jade. Jade's a first-time mom. And actually, the reason we had to do artificial insemination is because the male elephant we have here is Raja, and Raja is Jade's dad.
That makes Raja Jet's grandfather. Jet's father is Jake, who lives at the Denver Zoo. The artificial insemination process took perfect timing, careful planning, and months of training for both Jade and the zoo staff.
Part of that process was bringing in other experts that have done this AI procedure with other elephants at zoos and other facilities, and learning from them how to perform the AI procedure.
After a 22-month pregnancy, typical for elephants, Jet made his debut. All 262 pounds of him, full of personality.
I'm going to brag on the keepers and Jet because he's super, super smart, and they've done a wonderful job training him.
Our GoPro camera captured these up-close training sessions.
Good boy, Jet.
Each movement is very specific, all to support his well-being.
The first thing we taught him was just to come to us so that we could take a look at his eyes, his mouth, his overall body condition. We want him to feel comfortable being around us, interacting with us, participating in his own health care.
Jet, ear.
His big floppy ears are not only cute, but it's also where blood is drawn.
Their skin is incredibly thick, and their veins on their ears, the skin is a little bit thinner, and it's also really easy to visualize.
One thing cameras can't capture, one of the ways elephants communicate, through vibrations on the ground felt with their feet.
Like ultrasonic, they kind of rumble. They rumble, and it's something that we can't hear, but they'll feel it in the ground with their feet. So they can actually communicate with elephants that are up to miles away.
Jet is a foodie, especially loving grapes.
Good boy.
He's still nursing but has started eating solid foods like hay and grain. And despite his small size, he's already up to 800 pounds, gaining about 75 pounds a month.
He could top the scales at over 10,000 pounds.
For now, Jet's everyday discoveries are entertaining the masses.
Look, cool elephant.
From water sports, mud baths, stump climbing, and yes, even zoomies.
He's kind of just like your typical toddler. He's always looking to get into something.
While Jet charms the crowds with his curiosity, he is also carrying the weight of something much bigger, hope for the future of his species.
It is really revitalizing, and it kind of helps bring that conservation message to the forefront of why did we do this and how is it going to help not just our elephants here at the zoo, but elephants out, in the wild population as well.
All right, Jet, good boy.
So the St. Louis Zoo has 3 females capable of reproducing, but they are all Raja's daughters. That's why the zoo plans to move forward with artificial insemination in the near future. So as for Jet's grandpa, Raja, we were talking about this today because we thought he is moving, isn't he? There are still plans for him to move to another zoo, but they are in kind of a holding pattern, and a date has not yet been set.
Well, I'm old enough to remember when Raja was born.
You were talking about that.
So, and he's a grandpa.
Yes.
And guess what?
He's still a very big celebrity there.
The St. Louis Zoo also getting ready to say goodbye to one of its polar bears. Kalik will be sent to the Oregon Zoo later this fall as part of conservation efforts. Kalik and his twin brother Kalu just arrived in St. Louis back in March, but zoo officials say the twins should be okay with being separated since polar bears lead solitary lives.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact forecast. We are getting the much needed rain.
But not enough of it, right, Scott?
And not snow. You talk about polar bears, all I can think about is, the polar bears just...
Well, let's not hurry things up too
taking
much.
over Highway 40.
We still have a little time before we have to do that.
If we see them walking across the Tam Street overpass anytime soon, we're in trouble. All right, so here's what it looks like out at Lambert right now. We have another pretty good downpour coming over the airfield at the moment, and most of our flights are in tonight. There's still a couple of stragglers out there, but we're not going to have big problems with the flights landing. This is just rain, that's it. About 2 inches of rain up in Staunton, Illinois. Chris shared that photo with us tonight. There were pockets where the rain was heavier. You notice a lot of light green on here. That light green, anywhere between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch. Once we start getting into the darker greens, we start getting above an inch. Now, there were some spots around Maryville stretching over towards Highland, Illinois, 1 to 2 inches, locally 3 inches there. Also from Greenville over south of Vandalia, we picked up some spots with 3 to 4 inches of rain. And you'll get some more downpours, but the flooding concerns have eased because everything is on the move tonight. None of this rain that we're seeing sliding into the Metro East here around the 255 loop is causing any flooding, but certainly some ponding on the roads. Same sort of scenario back along 270, especially through that construction zone at 4064 and 270. And there are still showers out here in St. Charles County. We're now over an inch of rain in Wentzville and about 2 inches on the north side of O'Fallon. There are some thunderstorms down to the south. They are not severe. They'll be sliding by and a few rumbles of thunder, but nothing to be concerned with. 68 degrees right now, dew point 67. We're not going to see temperatures move much tonight. At last check about 3 minutes ago, Lambert was up to 3/10 of an inch of rainfall for the day. We'll tack on a little more overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Mid-60s tonight. It's where we start tomorrow, mid to upper 60s. A few showers certainly possible tomorrow morning, but it's not widespread. The energy does come in from the west tomorrow afternoon, and as it does so, that will inspire more showers to develop across the area. Maybe a rumble of thunder. Not expecting severe weather here tomorrow afternoon. The widespread showers with that would be later in the day and into early in the evening hours. Then skies will start to clear out as we push into tomorrow night. That sets us up for what should be a fantastic weekend. As far as the rainfall amounts go, I think with the showers overnight tonight, rest of tonight and into tomorrow, we may see another 1/3 to 1/2 inch of rain. The heavier rain's likely to be off to the south and southeast of St. Louis. Look at your Saturday forecast. 83 for the high, 84 on Sunday. It just doesn't get much better for the upcoming weekend. Recreationally speaking, showers tomorrow, have to dodge that. Then your temperatures are going back into the 80s for the weekend, a little bit above average, but without the humidity and with plenty of sunshine this weekend. For most of us, this rain hasn't been drought busting, not even putting a dent in it for some of us, maybe a little divot, but at least it's something.
But at least we got something for the plants and the trees and everything.
Yes.
All right. Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, the Blues welcome back a star player to training camp today. The Cardinals are struggling in San Francisco, and a word to the wise, don't try running the ball against that Mizzou defense. We will explain next. The Cardinals entered their night in San Francisco 3 games under 500 with 5 to play. So if they lose tonight, they could not finish with a winning season. I got to tell you, if Ali Marmol finishes 500 with that starting pitching and that offense, he deserves a raise. The Cardinals came out hitting in the first, though. Alec Burleson singles up the middle. It scores Brendan Donovan, who has 3 doubles tonight. 1-0 Birds. Burleson hitting about .350 this month. Thomas Sajaci also hitting well down the stretch. This single will score Lars Nootbaar. 3-0 Cardinals after 1. But in the third, it was a brutal one for the Cardinals. Nolan Arenado tries to throw home and hits the runner. 2-run score. The Giants score 5 in the third, and right now it's 5-3 San Francisco in the 5th inning. And we'll be seeing a lot less of these. Major League Baseball today approved the use of robot umpiring beginning next season. It will be for balls and strikes and will work as part of the challenge system. Only hitters, pitchers, and catchers can ask for a challenge, and each team will have 2 per game. I wish the Blues could fast forward 1 season. Not that this season won't be good, but they're so loaded with so many talented young players, and some of these young players are so young that they're not even old enough to buy a beer. And in a few years, they're going to be special. But sometimes you just can't expedite that learning curve. Jake Neighbors was back at training camp today for the first time in 4 days. He missed the time because of the death of a close friend. Neighbors is off to an awesome beginning to his NHL career. The 23-year-old has scored 49 goals in the last 2 seasons. Coach was happy to see him today.
Well, it's great to see a smiling face, and I thought he looked good. That was a tough practice on conditioning, getting up and down the ice a lot, and he didn't seem to, be behind anybody.
I can assure you Mizzou will not be behind UMass this Saturday. The Tigers are a 43-point favorite against the 0-3 Minutemen. Some are disappointed it's such a weak opponent, but they do have 4 ranked opponents looming on that schedule. One more note, the 3 SEC schools that Mizzou will now play every year moving forward, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. While much was made, and rightly so, of the Mizzou pass defense that allowed several big plays against South Carolina, meanwhile, the run defense was superb. Try 22 carries for -9 yards. Numbers like that, well, it impressed the coach and the players.
I think you see the hallmarks or the DNA of what we want our defensive football team to be. Stop the run, have some fun, 2, confuse, harass, and hit the quarterback. And I think we're able to do that at a really high level.
Everyone just executing their job, doing their 111th, guys just being playmakers. Sometimes, you just got to have a guy just whoop another dude. So that's what it comes down to, run game and just playing with physicality.
We've always been able to say, well, we're going to, in the 4th, we will be able to run the ball, and they will not. And if you cannot run the ball, you cannot get the clock. You can't run the clock out.
A tough night in Akron for the 8th-ranked SLU soccer team. The Zips dominated from start to finish. They win the game 3-0. SLU had allowed just 3 total goals in their first 8 games A tough night in what could be a special season for the Billikens. WNBA playoffs tonight. The Lynx hosting the Mercury, and the pride of Incarnate Word, Nafisa Collier, was doing her thing first from the outside, and then a little bully ball. She had 24 points tonight. However, Phoenix made a late run in the fourth and won the game in overtime, 89-83, to even the series at a game apiece. And that'll do it in sports.
Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
Well, here's a look at your weather impact Doppler radar right now. Some moderate rain pushing through the metro area. While there might be a rumble or two of thunder with this, we're not really seeing any cloud to ground lightning, but you'll get some brief downpours. Lambert's up to 3/100ths of an inch now in the rain gauge since midnight, so we'll take that rain. Sure. Some of us have seen quite a bit more. Many of us, probably most of us, have seen the lower end on the total, so we could still use some more. This will move out certainly before daybreak, and tomorrow the better chance for rain is in the afternoon and during the evening hours.
And the weekend looks
dry, sunny, and comfortable.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 5 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.